Welcome to the ATI TEAS 7 Nursing Exam Prep Course Part 1 today. Are you worried about passing your nursing exam on the very first try today? I know the feeling well, but we are going to make it super easy. These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification fast. Please leave suggestions in the comment section below to help me improve this course. Section 1 Reading and Math Basics for TEAS. Let us start with Section 1, covering reading and math basics for the TEAS. First, we will talk about how to read passages quickly and find main ideas. When you look at a story, always search for the big picture right away. The main idea is just what the author wants you to learn from it. You can usually find this main idea in the very first or last paragraph. Always look for supporting details, because they help explain the main idea much better. Next, we have to understand how to read different charts, graphs, and simple maps. These pictures give you facts quickly, so you must practice reading the labels carefully. You need to follow directions exactly, step by step, to get the right answer. Now, let us move on to some basic math skills you need to pass. You have to know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide numbers very well. Fractions can be scary, but they're just pieces of a whole round pie. To add fractions together, you must make so the bottom numbers match perfectly first. Decimals are like money, so think of dollars and cents when you see them. Moving the decimal point changes the value, so always pay close attention to it. You also need to know how to change fractions into decimals and into percentages. A percentage is simply a part out of 100, which is quite easy. We use algebra to find missing numbers, which we usually call the letter X. Just remember to do the exact same thing to both sides of the equal sign. Geometry means measuring shapes, so you should memorize the formulas for area and perimeter. Perimeter is just walking around the outside edges, adding all the side lengths up. Area is the space inside, so you multiply the length by the width together. You will also see word problems, which are just math hidden inside a story. Read the word problem slowly, and circle the numbers you need to use today. Always double-check your final math answer, just to be sure it makes sense. The ATI TEAS 7 test wants to see if you can think like nurses. Nurses need to read pattern charts perfectly, and give the exact right medicine doses. That is why reading and math are big parts of this very special exam. Take a deep breath, read the questions carefully, and trust your own studying process. You have the power to learn this, and I am right here with you. I want you to practice these simple concepts every day, until they feel natural. If you get stuck in a question, skip it and come back later on. Time management is a big key, so do not spend too long on one. Now, let us practice with some questions to see how much you have learned. Keep your scratch paper neat, because messy writing leads to silly math mistakes often. When reading long passages, underline the names and dates to find them faster later. Authors always have a reason to write, like to entertain, inform, or persuade you. Look for clue words in the text, such as first, next, and finally today. These clue words tell you the exact order that things happen in the story. You are doing a great job, so keep this good energy going right now. Let us look at the 19 practice questions I made for you to study. Point 1. What is the main idea of a reading passage on the TEAS exam today? The main idea is the biggest, most primary point the author wants to share. It is everything together, and you can usually find it in the first paragraph. Point 2. How do you find the perimeter of a simple rectangle shape on the test? You just add the lengths of all 4 outside edges of the rectangle together. Perimeter only measures the outside border, so you never multiply the sides for this. Point 3. What does an author want if their main purpose is to persuade the reader? The author wants to convince you to agree with their specific opinion or idea. They will use strong words and clear arguments to make you change your mind. Point 4. How do you turn a percentage into a simple fraction for a math problem? You put the percentage number over 100, and then you make it smaller. A percent is always out of 100, so that is your starting point. Point 5. What is the very first step when adding 2 fractions with different bottom numbers? You have to find a common denominator before you can add them up together. The bottom numbers must match perfectly, or the math will not work out right. Point 6. Where do you usually find a topic sentence inside a paragraph on the test? The topic sentence is almost always the very first sentence of a new paragraph. It tells you exactly what the rest of the paragraph is going to discuss. Point 7. Why is it so helpful to look at bold words in a reading passage? Bold words show you the most important vocabulary that you really need to know. Authors make words bold to grab your attention quickly and highlight key story facts. Point 8. What is the correct way to multiply 2 decimal numbers together on the test? You multiply them like normal numbers first, then count the total decimal places used. Then, you just put the exact same number of decimal places in your answer. Point 9. What type of reading passage tells a personal story or shares a fun memory? A narrative passage tells a story, usually with characters, a plot, and a setting. Think of a narrative as a book that is meant to entertain the reader. Point 10. How do you solve for the letter x in a basic algebra math equation? You must get the letter x all by itself on one side of the equal sign. You do the opposite math operation to move numbers away from the letter x. 11. What does the word chronological mean when you are reading a history test passage? It means the events are placed in the exact time order that they happened. You will see dates and times to help you track the story from the beginning. 12. If a store offers a 20% discount, how do you find the savings? You multiply the original price by 0.20 to find the savings. Changing the percent to a decimal makes it super easy to multiply and solve. Point 13. What is a logical conclusion when you are reading a long text passage today? It is an educated guess you make based on the clues the author gives. You use the facts in the text to figure out what is probably true. Point 14. How do you figure out the area of a square or a rectangle shape? You just multiply the length of the shape by the width of the shape. This tells you how much space is hidden inside the flat shape right now. Point 15. Why should you read the questions before reading the long passage on the exam? Reading the questions first tells your brain exactly what facts to look for later. This saves you a lot of time, because you know what is actually important. Point 16. What is an independent variable in a simple science experiment on the TEAS exam? It is the one specific thing that you change on purpose in the experiment. You change it to see what happens, and it causes the final results later. Point 17. How do you divide one fraction by another fraction on a math test today? You flip the second fraction upside down, and then you just multiply them together. This trick is called keep, change, flip, and it works perfectly every single time. Point 18. What is a primary source when you are doing research for a nursing paper? It is a document or photo made at the exact time the event happened. A DI or a raw data sheet is a primary source you can trust. Point 19. Why do you need to follow the order of operations in a math problem? If you don't follow the specific rules, you will get the wrong answer. Always do parentheses first, then multiply and divide, and add and subtract last today. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Section 2 Science and Human Anatomy. Welcome back to Part 2 of our amazing nursing exam course right now. Let us jump right into Section 2, covering Science and Human Anatomy Basics. Science is a large part of the TEAS exam, so we must focus. The human body is simply made up of many tiny parts called cells. Groups of similar cells come together, and they form tissues inside your body. When tissues join up, they create important organs, like your heart or lungs. Organs work together in big systems, so your body can function perfectly daily. You need to know the respiratory system, which helps you breathe in air. Oxygen goes into your lungs quickly, and carbon dioxide comes out when exhaling. The cardiovascular system is all about your heart, your blood, and blood vessels. Your heart pumps rich blood, carrying fresh oxygen to every single human cell. Veins carry the old blood right back to your busy heart to restart. Now, let us talk about the digestive system, which breaks down your food. It starts in your mouth, moves to the stomach, and enters the intestines. Your body pulls out the rich nutrients it needs, leaving the waste behind. The nervous system acts like a huge computer, controlling everything you do daily. Your brain and spinal cord send fast messages to all of your muscles. The skeletal system gives your body a strong frame made entirely of bones. You have exactly 206 bones, protecting your soft inside organs. Your muscular system attaches to these bones, allowing you to walk and jump. The immune system acts like a strong shield, fighting off bad germs daily. White blood cells are your little soldiers, keeping you healthy and feeling strong. You must also understand basic biology concepts, like how plant cells work well. Plant cells have a hard cell wall, which human cells do not have. Chemistry is another topic on the test, but we will keep it simple. Matter is anything that takes up space, like solid ice or liquid water. An atom is the smallest piece of matter, holding protons, neutrons, and electrons. Chemical reactions happen when two different things mix, creating something entirely new today. You will see questions about genetics, which explains how physical traits pass down. DNA is the special instruction manual, hiding inside almost every cell you have. Your parents gave you DNA, determining your eye color and hair type. Study the scientific method, which is how scientists test their brand new ideas. Make sure you understand hypotheses, experiments, and how to read the final data. Remember to read the science questions slowly, because they can be quite tricky. Do not let the big medical words scare you away from the answer. Look for familiar root words, which can help you guess the meaning faster. For example, the word cardio always means something related to the human heart. I want you to make flashcards for the different body systems and organs. Review your notes right before, so your brain remembers the facts better. Nurses need to know exactly how the human body works to help patients. You are studying to save lives, which is a truly wonderful goal today. Take your time, trust your gut, and do not second guess your answers. We are going to go through 19 practice questions to test your skills. Keep up the great work, because you are getting closer to your dream. Let us see how well you know these science facts right now today. Point 1. What is the main job of the red blood cells in your body? They carry fresh oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body. Red blood cells contain a special protein called hemoglobin, which easily grabs oxygen. Point 2. Which organ is responsible for pumping blood throughout your entire cardiovascular system today? Your heart acts as a very strong pump, moving blood through the vessels. The heart has 4 chambers that work together, keeping your blood flowing constantly. Point 3. What part of the respiratory system holds the vocal cords for speaking clearly? The larynx, also called the voice box, contains your vocal cords for speaking. Air passes through the larynx, making the cords vibrate to produce different sounds. Point 4. Which basic body system gives you shape and protects your soft internal organs? The skeletal system provides a solid frame, protecting organs like your delicate brain. Without your strong bones, your body would just be a soft puddle today. Point 5. What is the tiny basic building block of all living things on Earth? The cell is the smallest living unit, making up every single living creature. Just like bricks build a house, tiny cells build up your entire body. Point 6. How does the human digestive system begin the process of breaking down food? Digestion starts right in your mouth, when you chew food and mix saliva. Your teeth crush the food, while your spit starts breaking it down chemically. Point 7. Which important organ system controls all the nervous messages inside your entire body? The central nervous system, including the brain, controls all of your body messages. It sends lightning-fast signals down your spine, telling your muscles to move. Point 8. What are the tiny air sacs in the lungs called on the exam? They are called alveoli, and they look like tiny bunches of round grapes. This is the exact place where oxygen enters the blood, and carbon dioxide leaves. Point 9. What type of blood vessel carries blood directly away from your human heart? Arteries are thick tubes, carrying fresh red blood away from your strong heart. They need thick walls to handle the very high pressure of the pumping. Point 10. Which part of a plant cell uses sunlight to make food for energy? The chloroplasts capture the bright sunlight, turning it into sugar for the plant. This amazing process is called photosynthesis, and it makes plants grow very tall. Point 11. What part of the human brain controls your balance and your muscle coordination? The cerebellum sits at the back, keeping you balanced so you can walk. If you damage this part, you will feel very dizzy and clumsy today. Point 12. What does a white blood cell do for your amazing human immune system? It fights off bad germs, infections, and viruses that enter your body daily. When you get sick, your body makes many more to fight the illness. Point 13. Which scientific term describes a good guess that you can test with experiments? A hypothesis is an educated guess, which scientists test in the actual lab. You write it before the experiment starts, just to see if you guessed right. Point 14. What is the normal resting heart rate for a healthy human adult today? A normal resting heartbeat is usually between 60 and 100 beats. Athletes might have a lower rate, because their hearts are super strong physically. 0.15. Which vital human organ filters waste from your blood to make liquid urine? Your 2 kidneys filter the dirty blood, removing waste and extra fluid safely. They act like a coffee filter, keeping the good stuff and tossing waste. 16. What kind of muscle makes up the walls of your stomach and intestines? Smooth muscle lines your inner organs, working automatically without you even thinking today. You do not have to tell your stomach to digest your tasty food. 0.17. What does the word biology mean when you see it on the test? Biology is simply the detailed scientific study of life and living organisms everywhere. It covers everything from tiny germs to huge animals living in the wild. 0.18. Which part of the atom has a positive charge in basic school chemistry? Protons have a positive electrical charge, and they live inside the atom center. Neutrons have no charge at all, while electrons have a negative charge outside. 0.19. What is the biggest organ of the entire human body that protects you? Your skin is the largest organ, acting as a waterproof shield against germs. It keeps you warm, lets you feel things, and stops bacteria from entering. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Section 3 English Language and Usage Rules. Welcome back to Part 3 of our helpful nursing exam prep course right now. Let us talk about Section 3, covering English language and grammar rules for nurses. Good communication is a big part of your job, so this section matters. You must know how to spot errors in spelling, punctuation, and grammar quickly. Nurses write reports every single day, so these skills help you look professional. Let us start with the basic parts of a sentence, like subjects and verbs. The subject is the person or thing doing the action in the sentence. The verb is the action word, like running, jumping, or checking a pulse. A sentence must have both parts to be a complete and happy thought. If it is missing a part, we call it a sentence fragment today. You also need to watch out for run-on sentences, which are too long. A run-on happens when 2 thoughts are joined without the right punctuation marks. Use a period to separate them, or a comma with a joining word. Speaking of commas, they are used to separate items in a long list. We also use commas after introductory words, such as however or therefore today. Apostrophes are another tricky thing, used to show ownership or make short contractions. If a book belongs to a girl, we write the girl's book clearly. Use apostrophes carefully, because putting them in the wrong spot changes the meaning. Pronouns are words like he, she, it, or thee, used to replace names. You must make sure the pronoun matches the person it is replacing perfectly. Subject-verb agreement means that singular subjects need singular verbs to match them well. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural to match also. Adjectives describe nouns, while adverbs describe verbs, and they usually end in lie. For example, a nurse walks quickly, or appetite feels a little better. Spelling is very important on the TEAS, so practice common medical and English words. Watch out for words that sound the same but have different spellings today. These are called homophones, like there, the, and they are, which are different. Always choose the right one, because the wrong spelling looks very messy indeed. Capitalization is another key rule you must follow on the nursing exam today. Always capitalizeth first word of a sentence and all proper names clearly. Medical terms are usually not capitalized, unless they come from a person's name. For example, you capitalize Alzheimer's disease, but you do not capitalize the word flu. I want you to practice writing short, clear sentences every single day now. Clear writing prevents mistakes in the hospital, keeping all your patients very safe. Take your time with the English section, and read each sentence out loud. If it sounds funny in your head, there is likely a grammar error. Trust your ears, because you have been speaking English for a long time. We will now go through 19 practice questions to help you master grammar. Keep your focus sharp, and do not let the small rules confuse you today. You are doing a fantastic job, and I am very proud of you. Let us see how well you know your English rules right now. Point 1. Which part of a sentence is the person or thing doing the action? The subject is part of the sentence that performs the main action. In the sentence, the nurse works, the nurse is the subject doing the work. Point 2. What do we call a sentence that is missing a subject or verb? It is called a fragment, because it is only a piece of a thought. Fragments are incomplete, and they need more information to make sense to the reader. Point 3. When should you use a capital letter for a specific medical condition? You only use a capital letter if the disease is named after a person. Conditions like Parkinson's disease use capitals, while the word asthma stays in lowercase. Point 4. What is a run-on sentence when you are writing a nursing report today? A run-on sentence happens when two complete thoughts are joined together incorrectly. You need to add a period or a semicolon to fix the mistake clearly. Point 5. How do you use an apostrophe to show that one doctor owns a coat? You write a doctor's coat, with the apostrophe placed right before the letter S. Placing the apostrophe before the S shows that the coat belongs to just one doctor. Point 6. Which word is an adverb in the sentence? The patient recovered very quickly. The word quickly is the adverb, because it describes how the patient recovered. Most adverbs end in the letters lie, and they tell you more about the action. 7. What is a homophone in the English language and why is it tricky? Homophones are words that sound the same but have different meanings and spellings. Words like to, and to can confuse you if you do not pay attention. Point 8. Where should you place a comma when writing a list of 3 items? You put a comma after the first item and after the second item. Commas help the reader separate the items clearly, so they do not get mixed up. Point 9. What does subject-verb agreement mean when you are writing a formal sentence? It means that a singular subject must always go with a singular verb. You would say, he walks, but you would say, they walk, to be correct. Point 10. Which pronoun should you use to talk about a group of people today? You should use the pronoun they or them to describe a whole group. Pronouns must always match the number of people you are talking about in text. Point 11. What is the job of an adjective in a simple English sentence today? An adjective is a word that describes or tells you more about a noun. In the phrase, feared heart, red is the adjective describing the color of heart. Point 12. When do you use a semicolon instead of a regular comma in writing? You use a semicolon to join two complete sentences that are very closely related. A tact's like a strong comma, allowing you to link two big ideas together. Point 13. What is the correct way to capitalize the title of a specific book? You capitalize the first word and all the important words in the title. Short words like of, or, the, are usually left in lowercase unless they start. Point 14. Why is it important for nurses to use correct spelling in patient charts? Correct spelling ensures that other medical staff can read your notes without confusion. Misspelling a medicine name could be very dangerous for the person in the hospital. Point 15. What is a conjunction in a sentence, and what is its main purpose? A conjunction is a joining word like and, but, or, used today. These words glue smaller sentences or ideas together to make one longer, smoother sentence. Point 16. How do you find the direct object in a sentence about a nurse? The direct object is the thing that receives the action of the verb. In the sentence, the nurse helps the patient is the direct object. Point 17. What does it mean to use an active voice when you are writing? Active voice means the subject of the sentence is doing the action directly. It is much clearer to say, I gave the shot, than using a passive voice. Point 18. Which word should be capitalized in the phrase, the doctor lives in London? You must capitalize the word London, because it is the name of a city. All specific names of places, people, and brands must always start with a capital. Point 19. What is a prefix in English, and where do you find it today? A prefix is a group of letters added to the very beginning. It changes the meaning of the word, like in the common word unhappy. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Section 4 Human Anatomy and Life Sciences. Welcome back to Part 4 of our nursing exam prep course for the TEAS. Today, we are looking at how the human body stays in perfect balance. This balance is called homeostasis, and it is how your body stays healthy and safe. Your body has many special messengers called hormones that tell organs what to do. The endocrine system creates these hormones, using glands located throughout your entire body. For example, the pancreas makes insulin, which helps your body use sugar for energy. Without the right amount of insulin, your blood sugar levels would become very dangerous. Another important system is the urinary system, which keeps your blood clean and fresh. Your two kidneys work very hard to filter out waste and extra water. This waste becomes urine, which travels down to the bladder to be stored safely. When the bladder is full, your body signals you that it is time. The reproductive system is also on the test, so you must learn the parts. You need to know how cells divide through processes called mitosis and meiosis today. Metastasis, when one cell makes an exact copy of itself for body growth. This happens when you get a cut and your skin needs to heal. Meiosis is different, because it creates special cells for making brand new human life. These cells only have half the DNA, so they can join with another cell. We should also talk about the integumentary system, which is just a fancy name. It includes your skin, hair, and nails, protecting you from the outside world daily. Your skin has 3 layers, and it helps control your body temperature very well. When you are hot, you sweat to cool down your skin and blood. When you are cold, your skin gets goosebumps to help hold the heat inside. You must also study the lymphatic system, which helps your body fight off illness. It carries a clear fluid called lymph, which contains many white blood cells today. Lymph nodes act like small filters, trapping bad germs before they can make you sick. If you have a sore throat, you might feel your lymph nodes swelling. This means your body is working hard to keep you healthy and very strong. Biology questions will also ask about the different parts of a living cell. The nucleus is the brain of the cell, holding all your genetic information. Mitochondria are the powerhouses, because they create the energy the cell needs to work. Ribosomes are like tinofactories, making the proteins that your body needs to grow. Each part has a specific job, and they must all work together perfectly. I want you to draw diagrams of the cell and label each part. Visual learning is a great way to remember these difficult science names and facts. Nursing students must understand these details, because they explain why people get very sick. When a system fails, it causes symptoms that you will see in your patients. Stay focused on the big picture, but do not forget the small details today. You are doing amazing work, so keep pushing forward toward your goal right now. We will now look at 19 questions to test your knowledge of these systems. Take your time, read carefully, and use your logic to find the right answer. Point 1. What is the name of the process where a cell divides once? Mitosis is the process where one cell divides into 2 identical daughter cells. This is how your body grows larger and repairs itself after you get an injury. Point 2. Which body system is responsible for creating hormones that control your body functions? The endocrine system uses glands to send chemical messengers called hormones into the blood. These hormones control things like your growth, your mood, and how you use energy. Point 3. What is the main job of the mitochondria inside a tiny living cell? Mitochondria are known as the powerhouse because they create energy for the cell. They take in nutrients and turn them into energy that the cell uses to live. Point 4. Which organ in the urinary system stores urine until it is ready to leave? The bladder is a hollow muscular organ that holds urine until you go. It can expand as it fills up, and then it shrinks back down after emptying. Point 5. What does the term homeostasis mean when talking about the human body today? Homeostasis is the way the body maintains a stable and balanced internal environment. It keeps your temperature and your chemicals at the right levels to stay alive. Point 6. Which layer of the skin is the very top layer that we see? The epidermis is the outermost layer of skin that protects you from the environment. It is waterproof and creates your skin tone, acting as a shield for your body. Point 7. What happens during the process of meiosis in the human body systems today? Meiosis creates special reproductive cells that have only half of the regular DNA. This allows two cells to join together to create a brand new human being. 8. Which gland in your brain is often called the master gland of endocrine? The pituitary gland is the master gland because it tells other glands what to do. It is very small, but it controls many important things like your growth and bones. 9. What is the primary function of the lymphatic system in your body daily? The lymphatic system helps protect you from disease by filtering out bad germs. It works closely with your immune system to keep you from getting very sick. 10. Which part of the cell acts as the brain and holds DNA? The nucleus is the control center that contains all of the genetic instructions. It tells the rest of the cell how to behave and when to divide. 11. What are the tiny tubes that carry urine from kidneys to the bladder? Ureters are the two small tubes that connect your kidneys to your bladder. They use small muscle movements to push the liquid down into the storage area. 12. How does the integumentary system help to cool your body when you are hot? It produces sweat through glands, which evaporates and cools down your warm skin. This is a vital part of homeostasis, preventing your body from overheating. 13. What is the main difference between a plant cell and an animal cell? Plant cells shave a thick cell wall and chloroplasts, which animal cells lack. The cell wall gives plants their stiff shape, and chloroplasts make their own food. 14. Which hormone does the pancreas produce to help control your blood sugar levels? The pancreas produces insulin, which allows your cells to take in sugar for energy. Without insulin, sugar stays in the blood and can cause many health problems. 15. What is the job of the ribosomes located inside of a living cell? Ribosomes are the parts of the cell that build proteins for your body. Proteins are the building blocks for your muscles, your skin, and your many organs. 16. Which part of the heart receives blood that is coming back from the body? The right atrium is the chamber that receives blood low in oxygen today. It is the first stop for blood returning to the heart before going to lungs. 17. What are alleles when you are studying the science of human genetics today? Alleles are different versions of the same gene that determine your physical traits. You get one allele from your mother and one from your father for traits. 18. What is the purpose of the liquid called lymph in the human body? Lymph carries waste and white blood cells throughout the body to fight off infections. It travels through its own vessels, separate from your red blood cells and veins. 19. Which organ system is responsible for removing carbon dioxide waste from your blood? The respiratory system removes carbon dioxide when you breathe air out of your lungs. This exchange of gases is necessary to keep your blood clean and healthy today. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Section 5 Advanced Math and Data Reasoning. Welcome back to Part 5 of our nursing exam prep course for the TEAS. Today, we are looking at harder math problems and how to read data. Nurses must be very good at math to keep their patients safe and healthy. You will often need to calculate the exact amount of medicine a person needs. This requires you to use ratios and proportions, which are just comparing two numbers. A ratio shows how much of one thing exists compared to another thing today. For example, if you have 2 nurses for every 10 patients, that is a ratio. You can write this as a fraction, which makes it much easier to solve. Proportions are just 2 ratios that are equal to each other in a problem. You can use cross multiplication to find a missing number, which is a very handy trick. Multiply the numbers across from each other, and then divide to find the answer. You also need to understand the metric system, because hospitals use it for everything. You must learn how to change grams into milligrams and liters into milliliters quickly. Just remember that the word milli always means 1/1000th of the whole unit. To move between these units, you usually just move the decimal point 3 spots. Moving to the right makes the number bigger, while moving left makes it smaller. You should also be able to read and interpret data from different scientific studies. Look at the mean, median, and mode to understand the middle of the data. The mean is just the average, found by adding numbers and dividing the total. The median is the exact middle number when you line them all up. The mode is the number that appears most often in a set of data. Knowing these helps you understand if a patient's results are normal or very unusual. You will also see many types of charts, like line graphs and circle graphs. A circle graph, or pie chart, shows how a whole thing just divided. Line graphs are great for showing how something changes over a long period today. Always look at the title and the labels on the side to understand facts. Sometimes the test will give you extra numbers that you do not actually need. Be careful to only use the numbers that help you solve the specific question. Practice your long division and multiplication by hand, because you cannot always use calculators. I want you to work on these math problems until you feel very confident. If a word problem seems too long, break it into smaller, easier pieces today. Circle the question being asked, so you do not provide the wrong final value. Nursing math is all about being precise, so double-check every single decimal point. A small mistake in a decimal could mean a very big mistake in medicine. You have the brain power to master these numbers, so keep practicing every day. We are now going to solve 19 math and data questions to practice. Stay calm and take it step by step, because math is just a puzzle. You are doing a great job, and we're almost at the very end. Let us see how well you can handle these nursing math challenges right now. Point 1. How do you find the mean of a group of 5 different numbers? You add all 5 numbers together and then divide the total by 5. The mean is just the mathematical average of all the data points you have. Point 2. What is the value of the prefix milli in the metric system today? The prefix milli represents 1/1000th, or 0.001, of a unit. This is why there are exactly 1000 milliliters in one single liter of liquid. 3. If a ratio is 3 to 4, how else can you write it? You can write a ratio as a fraction, which would be 3/4. Writing ratios as fractions makes it much easier to solve for a missing number today. Point 4. How do you find the median of a list of 7 different numbers? You put the numbers in order and pick the one in the exact middle. The median represents the middle point, with half the numbers above and half below it. Point 5. What does the mode represent when you are looking at a set of data? The mode is the number that appears most frequently in your list of data. A set of data can have one mode, many modes, or no mode at all. Point 6. How many milligrams are there in exactly 2.5 grams of a substance? There are 2,500 milligrams in 2.5 grams of medicine. You multiply the grams by 1,000 to change them into the smaller milligram unit. Point 7. What is a dependent variable when you are looking at a scientific line graph? The dependent variable is the result or the thing that you are actually measuring. It is usually found on the vertical y-axis on the side of the graph. Point 8. How do you calculate a 20% tip on a $50 dinner bill? You multiply $50 by 0.20 to get $10 total. Changing the percentage to a decimal is the fastest way to solve any percentage problem. Point 9. What is the very first step in solving a math problem with parentheses? You must always solve the math inside the parentheses before doing anything else today. Following the order of operations ensures that you get the correct and final math answer. Point 10. If you move a decimal point 2 places to the left, what happens? Moving the decimal 2 places to the left makes the number 100 times smaller. This is the same thing as dividing the original number by 100 very quickly. Point 11. What does a pie chart show you when used in a nursing report? A pie chart shows how different parts make up 100% of something. Each slice of the pie represents a category and its size compared to the whole. Point 12. How do you solve a proportion like x over 5 equals 10 over 20? You cross-multiply 10 times 5, then divide 50 by 20 to find the x. Cross-multiplying is the best way to find a missing number in two equal fractions. Point 13. What is the range of a set of data for a nursing student? The range is the difference between the highest and the lowest numbers in data. You subtract the smallest number from the largest number to find the total range today. Point 14. How many centimeters are in 1 meter when measuring a patient's height today? There are exactly 100 centimeters in 1 single meter in the metric system. Centi means 100th, so it takes 100 of them to make a whole. Point 15. What is the purpose of a legend or key on a data graph? The legend explains what the different colors or symbols on the graph actually mean. Without the key, you would not know which line belongs to which group of data. 16. How do you change a decimal like 0.75 into a percentage? You multiply the decimal by 100 and then add the percent sign today. 0.75 becomes 75% after you move the decimal 2 spots. Point 17. What is an outlier when you are looking at a list of test scores? An outlier is a number that is much higher or lower than others. It can change the mean of your data, so you must always watch for it. 18. How many milliliters are in a standard teaspoon used for liquid medicine at home? There are approximately 5 milliliters in one standard teaspoon used for measuring medicine today. Nurses must know these common conversions to help patients take their medicine safely at home. 19. What is the boiling point of water in the Celsius scale on the exam? Water boils at exactly 100 degrees Celsius when at a normal sea level. The metric system uses 0 for freezing and 100 for boiling, which is easy. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time. Section 6 Final Review and Test Taking Skills. Welcome to the final part of our nursing exam prep course for the TEAS. Today, we are finishing with Section 6, covering the most critical study and test skills. You have learned a lot of facts, but now you must learn how to take the test. The TEAS is a timed exam, so you must manage your minutes very carefully today. Never spend too long on one single hard question, because you might run out of time. If a question feels impossible, pick your best guess and move on to the next. You can always flag the question and come back if you have extra time left. Read every single word of the question, because the test makers like to hide clues. Sometimes, one small word like not or except can change the entire meaning of the sentence. Look at all the answer choices before you make your final selection on the screen. Even if the first answer looks good, the last one might be even better today. Use the process of elimination to cross out the answers that you know are wrong. This increases your chances of picking the right one, even if you are just guessing. When you feel stressed during the test, take 3 deep and very slow breaths. Keeping your brain calm helps you remember all the facts we talked about in class. I want you to eat a healthy breakfast and sleep well before the big day. Your brain needs energy and rest to work at its very best during the exam. Bring a bottle of water and a small snack if the testing center allows it today. Practice with a timer at home, so you get used to the fast pace of the test. The more you practice, the less scary the actual test will feel to you. Remember that you are going to be a great nurse, and this is just one step. Focus on your goal of helping people and saving lives every single day in the future. You have the knowledge, and know you have the skills to show what you know. This course was built to give you the most important information for the 2026 update. Go back and watch the previous sections if you feel weak in any specific subject. Science and math usually need the most practice, so give them extra time and attention. Your hard work will pay off when you see that passing score on the screen. I believe in you, and I know you can reach your nursing dreams very soon. Nurses are the heart of the hospital, and we need more people like you today. Stay positive, keep studying, and do not give up on yourself even if it gets hard. We are now going to finish with our last set of 19 practice questions. These cover a mix of everything to make so you are ready for the real thing. Let us do this one last time, and finish this course with a very strong start. You are ready to succeed, so let us jump into these final review questions right now. Point 1. What is the very first thing you should do when you start the TEAS exam? You should take a deep breath and quickly look over the entire test section. This helps your brain relax and allows you to see how much work is ahead. Point 2. What should you do if you come to a question that you do not understand? You should make an educated guess, flag it, and move on to the next one. Keeping your momentum is important so that you do not run out of time at end. Point 3. How does the word accept change a question on the nursing exam today? It means you are looking for the only answer choice that is actually wrong. 3 answers will be correct, and you must pick the one that does not fit. Point 4. Why is the process of elimination a good strategy for multiple choice tests today? It removes the wrong answers and makes it easier to find the correct only quickly. Even if you are unsure, removing 2 bad options gives you a 50% chance. Point 5. What is the best way to handle test anxiety while you are sitting in the chair? You should practice slow, deep breathing to calm your heart rate and your busy mind. A calm brain can access stored memories much faster than a brain that is stressed. Point 6. How much time should you spend on each individual question on the exam today? You should try to spend about 1 minute or less on every single question. This pace ensures that you will have enough time to finish the entire section comfortably. Point 7. Why should you never leave a question blank on the ATI TEAS 7 test? There is no penalty for guessing, so a guess is always better than a blank. You might get lucky and get the point, but a blank is always 0 points. 8. What is the benefit of reading the answer choices from the bottom to the top? It forces your brain to look at each option individually instead of rushing through them. This simple trick can help you spot the correct answer that you might have missed. Point 9. How does staying hydrated help you during a long 3-hour testing session today? Drinking water keeps your brain alert and prevents you from getting a bad headache. Even small amounts of dehydration can make it very hard to focus on difficult math. Point 10. What should you do with your scratch paper during the math section of the test? You should keep your work neat and numbered so you can check it later. If you have time to go back, neat work helps you find your mistakes fast. Point 11. What is a key clue that an answer choice might be wrong on the TEAS? Answers that use words like always or never are often wrong because they are extreme. Most things in medicine and science have exceptions, so look for more moderate answer choices. Point 12. Why is it important to do a brain dump at the start of the test? You can write down formulas or facts on your scratch paper before you forget. This clears your mind so you can focus on reading the questions without any extra stress. Point 13. How should you prepare the night before you take your nursing entrance exam today? You should pack your bag, eat a good meal, and get 8 hours of sleep. Resting your body is just as important as studying your books for a big exam. Point 14. What does it mean to look for keywords in a reading passage on the test? You are searching for names, dates, or action words that help you find answers. Keywords act like a map, leading you directly to the information that you really need. 15. How can you tell if an answer is too specific to be the main idea? If the answer only talks about one small detail, it is not the main idea. The main idea must cover the entire passage, not just one little piece of it. 16. What should you do if two answer choices look almost exactly the same today? You should look for the tiny difference in the wording between the two choices. Usually, one word will make one answer slightly more correct than the other. 17. Why should you avoid changing your first answer unless you are absolutely certain? Your first instinct is often correct based on the studying you have already done. Many students talk themselves out of the right answer because they start to overthink things. 18. What is the goal of the ATI TEAS 7 exam for nursing schools today? The goal is to see if you have the basic skills to succeed in nursing. They want to know if you can handle the hard work of a nursing program. 19. How will you feel once you finally finish your last question on the exam? You should feel proud of your hard work and the effort you put in today. Completing the test is a huge accomplishment on your journey to becoming a professional nurse. Make sure to check the description below, so you can get the full course. Thank you for studying with me today, and I will see you next time.